Dobbs decision was wrong. And that now, like it or not, there's going to be this generation-long battle to restore women's rights that should have been protected, should be codified into law. And so it will play a role. It's played a role in past elections. It's going to play a role in this and every future election until it's restored. And there's really no two ways about it, because they will be restored. This country is simply not going to allow itself to slide into a theocracy where one particular religious view of controlling women and their bodies will be allowed to take root. But until then, it's going to be up to voters to turn out every single time. And that's going to include several races for legislature here in the state of Wisconsin. For example, you've got in the new 8th State Senate District, you've got Democrat Jodi Habush Sinykin taking on Republican Duey Stroebel, who voted against repealing the 1849 ban that was in statutes shortly after Wisconsin became a state. Duey Stroebel voted in favor of a 14-week abortion ban. But here to me is the one that is most egregious. Duey Stroebel was the only no vote when the Senate, on a vote of 32-1, voted to extend postpartum Medicaid coverage for new moms and babies. Currently, that health care coverage for new moms runs for 60 days. There are now only 3 states at 60 days. The other 47 have taken advantage of a federal funding to have coverage for new moms for 1 year after birth. But it's still not the law in Wisconsin. Not just because Duey Stroebel was the only one to vote against it in the Senate, but because despite having enough co-sponsors in the Assembly to pass, Assembly Speaker Robin Vos would not allow it to come up for a vote. So 2 middle-aged rich white guys, Duey Stroebel and Robin Vos, said, nope, we know what's best for women. And what's best for women is that they not have the security of health insurance coverage for their moms and babies. We'd rather see a 14-week abortion ban. We'd rather see this 1849 statute seen as an abortion ban. And they, of course, celebrated the Dobbs decision. So when Jodi Habush Sinykin runs against Duey Stroebel in the 8th Senate District, she's got some things to talk about that are going to resonate with voters. Same goes for the 14th State Senate District, now represented by Republican Joan Ballweg, who has said that, quote, I believe life begins at conception, and that even if it is started in a terrible way, that's still life. If a woman is raped and it results in a pregnancy, that person who raped her was terrible, but she wasn't. Well, maybe she, the rape victim, wasn't terrible, but according to Joan Ballweg, she also doesn't deserve the right to make her own choices about what to do with her body. Ballweg has co-sponsored a fetal personhood amendment that would grant embryos the same rights as people, basically outlawing all abortion care and threatening IVF, in vitro fertilization treatments. She's being challenged by Sarah Kieski, the Democratic candidate in the 14th Senate District, and a rural mental health care provider who said that reproductive rights are an important issue to her and will definitely be part of the campaign in this district that now includes the seat north of Madison, parts of Dane, Richland, Columbia, Sauk, Juneau counties. Out in western Wisconsin, you have the new 30th Assembly District, represented for quite some time now by Republican Shannon Zimmerman. He is being opposed by Allison Page, Democratic candidate who is a nurse, hospital administrator, and CEO of Western Wisconsin Health. That new district covers parts of western Wisconsin in the River Falls area. Allison Page has talked about her own health issues in a 1982 pregnancy that necessitated abortion care, a deeply personal issue for someone who had 3 children at the time and who told the Wisconsin Examiner, we should not be going back to a world where someone else feels like they should get to judge a woman's decision. That's not a good world for families, and that's not a good world for women, she told the Wisconsin Examiner. So in these cases and so many more, the Dobbs decision repealing Roe v. Wade, which occurred 2 years ago this week, is very much going to be a factor. You could probably expect something of a question of that nature to come up on Thursday night as well, in the first of what are supposed to be 2 debates between President Biden and former President Donald Trump. Civic Media news director and midday host Todd Alba will anchor Civic Media's coverage of the 90-minute debate starting at 7:30 on Thursday evening. A Biden spokesman says Trump will finally have to answer in a fair forum for ripping away Americans' freedoms, promising billionaire donors tax cuts, and threatening democracy with promises to rule as a dictator if he wins or violence if he loses.